Hi friends, this is Calpun Pisa. As I always say, believing God, Christianity is a mental illness. It's one of the schizophrenias, the HIV of the neural array. Here, MSNBC is presenting killings and people, teenagers that kill somebody. Well, the reason they kill people is due to they're born in Christianity-affected homes, in the Christianity-affected country. Christianity affected everything. And of course, they wanted to just kill this girl as a sacrifice. This is exactly what happened, which is absolutely mind-boggling. It's amazing, but it happened. So that's the reason, believing God, with all these churches infecting the mind of children with all these ridiculous, nonsensical, schizophrenic fantasies, it's a damage to the youth of America and keeps them stagnated. They keep the intellect stuck in the Middle Ages with all this mumbo-jumbo crap that we don't need in this 21st century. It's a great damage that churches and places of worship of nonsense are done to humanity. That's a problem. But anyway, this is very interesting, talking about that. All the shootings, all the places that happen in the United States, all the crazy thinking, all the riots and things are due to this Christian upbringing, this Christian nonsense. They're reading only one book on Sundays in churches. There's no God. The things don't exist. And the beliefs of the religious are the same of the belief of schizophrenic or people with neurological problems. Because the brain is the one that creates thinking. And you'll see this. I turned the TV on, I saw this clip I think is very interesting to present it to you guys. The disorder nobody sees, cry psychosis.
Cassie Jo Stoddard has been stabbed to death. Detectives begin to focus the investigation on two boys who were at the house the night Cassie was killed, and Brian Draper.
Of Cassie, so they're all at this time about between 15 and 16 years old.
And learning, we never had problems with Brian.
Christ psychosis infected parents can only bring children with their Christ psychosis delusions, and the children grow up in a Christ psychosis infected nation, Christ psychosis infected friends, and they are taught in school by Christ psychosis infected teachers. They're all brought up in Christianity infected homes, going to schools and then going to churches, getting all the delusions, the fantasies that they believe to be reality. So you see, everything is connected to this infection. Virus of the brain. God belief. Zombie God belief. Blood saves, according to them. This is the problem.
Full-time summer job, health down, no problems.
Family of 5.
Tori has just been a blessing to our lives. He's never been in
What is he bringing?
And even from an
religion,
age,
Christian,
had his sights set on Hollywood.
He wanted to be a director. He wanted to direct movies.
See, nobody mentions the religion. No one. No one mentions that.
That progressed to
That's the problem.
movies with his friends. Pleasure in our lives.
Tori Adamczyk and Brian Draper, 2 average high school kids.
Respectable parents.
What's the religion?
So we're
See, nobody mentions that.
Thinking
Usually Christian parents, right? Psychotic.
This is going to come to a dead end real quick.
I don't exactly know.
See? Imagination due to Christ psychosis. In a fantasy world that they live in.
The red flag goes up. The 16-year-old kid that just watched a movie last night or 2 nights ago doesn't remember what it's about.
See, this is the problem. Nobody pays attention to reality and to facts in this beautiful, wonderful country of ours, the United States of America. But the whole country is infected with Christ psychosis. There's millions of churches, they spew lies, falsehoods. They read only one book. It's like reading Donald Duck book in one place of worship. The other ones read only Marvel books. The other one reads only about Mickey Mouse. The other one's about the tooth fairies, the different types. And they all have their own books, and they all believe that this is true. And then when they go to Disneyland, even these adults, very intellectuals and doctors and scientists and all that, they do believe that all the characters are real because they've been taught this for 1,500 years. So they do believe that they are real. So there you have it. This is the problem. This is the problem in the United States of America. There's a tremendous infection of, it's a schizophrenia type disorder combined with temporal lobe epilepsy, depression, dementia, all this combined in the brain. And some kids, some babies, some people are genetically defective, are susceptible to this disorder, and they're brought up in homes, they cannot fend off the fantasies. So they grow up, and they do believe in these things that are unreal, they're false, they're schizophrenic type of beliefs, as if they were reality. And this is the problem. And all happens in, of course, religion. They can fend off the fantasy of Christianity, which is deluded fantasies, created in a book of mythologies with the Bible. And nobody says they're mythology. They believe the Bible is real. It's no different than Quran and the other beliefs, religious beliefs, texts, which are nothing but mythologies. They're nothing but mythologies, no reality on it. It's like books of schizophrenic. And they keep infecting the kids and raping the children's mind with this. So all the fantasies, they become reality. These people want to do a sacrifice, to sacrifice their kid, and they think it's perfectly logical because they're brought up in Christian homes. It happens to all of them. And the people in Islamic homes, the same thing. All over. It's a disease.
He wants to talk.
And when he arrived, he was really...
His house, hung out, watched a movie, and then left. But a couple...
Okay. We went all the way over here. We went here, we parked. We went inside her basement. We go upstairs. On the couch.
They had pre-planned some costumes that they were going to wear for this murder.
All religious psychoses have costumes. All of them have costumes. There is no exception. All of them have these really fancy costumes in temples, in everywhere. All have costumes.
And then they had both custom-made masks.
Ritual,
Really the best.
like in the Catholic Church.
I felt like I was watching a movie of somebody else's life. It was just complete disbelief.
We shut the store. We shut it to single.
Slasher movie.
Cassie was saying, who's there? And I was about to say, you know, hey.
See, to them, this is reality. See, they immerse. It's like the Columbine killers. They're all Christian, Christ psychotic, infected.
As well as I do.
That's what happened. It's their fault.
It's an unbelievable thing to hear my son say those words.
See, these stupid Christian imbeciles? That's what happens.
And she was really important. I had to kill her. I had to kill her. So it's coming.
Tell us that it all started out to be a prank, and that he pushed most of the blame upon committed the murder, and that he was merely there. He was really not an active participant.
We had to tell the truth.
See, in all religious psychosis, you cannot tell between fact and fiction. So this sounds like it's really good. I mean, they immerse themselves in this psychosis, and they act out there because it turns them on.
But Draper offers
It feels so good.
more than just words.
It's like in church.
He tells detectives where they had buried the masks, knives, and clothes
See this
they
crap?
used in the murder.
He described it that it was going to be located in a canyon area.
The rest of the items, we located a videotape.
Nowhere had anybody mentioned anything about a videotape.
The tape was made the day Cassie Jo Stoddard was killed, and on the tape appear Brian Draper and Tori Adamczyk, and their
It's a 220 seconds to 76. Skipping like 4 hours. We're not even flying right out. That's pretty cool.
Instantly, all of us pretty much got sick, thinking that you don't think these two kids actually videotaped.
Christ psychosis, you go to church, you pray to some big gods, and you believe everything is real, right? Remember that.
We gotta get her right.
And you see, if Christ psychosis infected idiots with all these churches, stagnating the brain and raping the brain of children with all these dumb things, keeping them stuck in the 12th century, if they really truly believe in prayer, don't use medicines like the Ebola idiots that get infected, the missionaries, despicable missionaries. Why don't you just pray? Why don't you just abstain from medicine? You really truly believe and you have faith. Why don't you pray? Look at this. Look at this.
When faith does this, faith begins to shrink the mountain and shrink the enemy.
Really? Well, if faith shrinks everything, it just shrinks Ebola, shrinks the disease, so why don't you pray? Don't be a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, deluded person that belongs to the mental institution.
Ebola looks what it actually is. It's a little tiny worm.
Worm? It's a virus. The imbecile doesn't realize it's a virus. That's what happened in Dallas. Presbyterian, Christ-psychosis infected hospital. These are stupid nurses, instead of pray, so they can cure. No, they rely on cures by mentally healthy atheist scientists that developed this serum. And these idiot missionaries, deluded imbeciles in Liberia, why don't they pray? Well, they had to benefit from technology, from medical science created by atheists. Atheist means don't believe in crap and bullshit. That's what it believes. It's not a religion. So this is what we have. These idiots here, and they're loose in the streets. See, he's talking bullshit. This guy is talking about this mythologies from the Bible, believing it's true. And dumb, clueless, mentally healthy atheist scientists and intellectuals don't actually insist in the neurological field that this imbecile, this Christ-psychosis infected imbecile raping the brain of children, spewing all this psychotic schizophrenia bullshit, is not committed. We're in a mental institution. What is he doing giving lectures about 2 + 2 = any number that he thinks it is, except 4? That's a disgrace. And that's the reason the United States is the most ignorant, deluded, Christ-psychotic, infected, homophobic, racist nation on the planet. These guys.
A few hours later, and talk about their plans to kill their friend, Cassie Jo Stoddard.
See, let's keep it. They're anti-sex. They teach how bad it is to have children before, to have sex with girls. They're so bad, and the sin, and all. They tell them that in school. Keep in mind, homosexuality is bad, all the queers and all that. They teach them all that in school, constantly. So to them, a girl is a big deal. They're inferior anyway. See what I mean? And they want to recreate the fantasy.
Adam, Check, and Draper continue planning their killing, going over.
They're probably in Cassie's room. So sneak in the front door, make a noise.
And there's only one. I have tons of examples. Remember Jim Jones? 900 Christ-psychotic in Guyana committing suicide. You remember Koresh? And Andrea Yates that drowned the 5 children.
September 27th.
All these calculating parents that killed the kids.
Go to where Cassie was house sitting. They hang out with Cassie and her boyfriend.
See, if United States had a mentally healthy, in other words, atheist schools, you will have special trips to the morgue with the students. They see how the body decomposes. You can see what happens when you stab people, when the people are killed, and things like that. And then you will understand reality, how the bodies are formed, how the pain, how people that suffer pain, torture, show inquisitions of the church, the Christ-psychotic church. Show all that. Show when people, they're hanged and they're killed, and the people are shot and they show the wounds. And it's very simple. You can teach that to, 11, 12, 13-year-old kids, especially in school. You teach them science, you teach them what happened. Then they will snap out of the fantasy world, Christ-psychotic, infected, imbecile people, students lived in. And as you can see with the pastor, the imbecile, the ignoramus, stuck in the 12th century, all the churches, and there are a million of them, and universities, they're all Christians, and they teach crap. They don't teach children. Children should be taught sex education.
ancient history. But in sex education, they should teach how babies are created. Evolutionary biology. A 10-year-old, 11-year-old will understand that. Teach them what a mother is. You know, how the penis of the fathers shoots that sperm. Teach them. Kids are not stupid. They grab everything really fast. There's no mystery in the sex. And you teach them that. Teach them that that's the way they were created. And the brain was formed. And constantly, every time you teach them something, constantly remind them that the brain is the one that creates things, and to demand evidence on everything. The teacher will explain something, even to a 10, 12, 11, 14-year-old, and you teach them about this stuff, and don't call them children. The stupid American imbeciles in school, they call children, they call 18-year-olds children. Imbeciles. They're so ignorant, and it's all due to Christ psychosis. Teach them so they respect the mothers. They respect people, how they were created. They respect life. If you show them all the reality of how the body decomposes, all this science, you will understand you don't want to kill people. It's not a, a world of fantasy, all games and all the games that they have, kids with all these killings and all that stuff on the TV. That is not real. And they mimic the whole thing because they don't teach children reality. Thanks to Christ's psychosis, and it happens everywhere. It happens in Arabia, any infected country with Islam psychosis, Jewish psychosis, and all that. They keep people stupid with all these places of worship crap. We're in the 21st century, and the whole United States government is infected. They are the only ones that can actually ban all the churches and put all these idiots in mental institutions, believing God and zombie gods and crap like that in the 12th century. A mental disorder like schizophrenia, temporal lobe epilepsy, and all that. It's all created in the brain, and they don't see that, and that is the problem. And the government of the United States are all Christ psychotic, and they allow these churches imbecile raping the brain of children all the time. This is the problem. That's the reason you have all these killings.
And you will find out that in none of these programs, none of them, all these detective stories, all these actual things that happen, and all, they never question the religion, psychosis, upbringing of the people that commit the crimes. Never. They never question it. They never ask what kind of upbringing. These kids didn't pop up out of the clouds from thin air. They were born. They emerged from a mother's vagina, from a cave of creation, with no information, with a brain blank of information, ready to tackle the planet during the imprinting period, with absorbing all the information with the 5 senses to navigate the planet. So they start learning English, they start learning the custom, and they're learning everything. They didn't come out of nowhere. So you have to ask any dumb psychiatrists around here in this country, they're all Christianity-infected imbeciles, and all these idiots, they can never question the upbringing. Hey, these kids, some kids, they're born with defective brains, and they can fend off the fantasies. It happens to all people with neurological defects, and sometimes you can tell. Because the majority of us are schizophrenic, have a mental problem, because we are evolved, mutated primates. We are freaks of nature. We are crazy apes. That's a fact. And we create gods and spirits and life after death to cope with the reality that we're going to die and the end of existence. And then we have to invent life after death and all that to cope with it, to cope with death. So we are crazy. But see, this is the thing, and they don't understand that. It's a problem. Christianity is like a worse cancer of the brain. It's like an HIV of the brain. So people that believe in God, they are Christianity positive. And they, all of a sudden they can come out full-blown with accepting imaginary friends of reality, come up with full-blown Christianity, Christ psychosis, like these kids were. Yeah, and they believe all this stuff to be reality. It's all a game to them. That's the problem.
Adam check planning Cassie Stoddard's murder.
I heard some news about Kirsten. She's gonna be home from 6 to 7, so we're gonna kill her and
They wanted to kill all their kids.
keep moving on.
Sound familiar?
Cassie's thing and kill them one by one. Hell yeah.
And it seems that Draper and Adamczyk were planning a school shooting. They'd even made a list of potential victims.
What they planned and what they...
This is 2006.
Was far
2006 when this happened.
And Brian
Hello?
had written an 8,000-word essay called Black River. In Black plans for a massacre at Pocatello High School. He had even set a date for the attack. 2 weeks to the day after Cassie Jo Stoddard.
Multiple gunshot wounds.
I saw the men with the weapons inside the school.
Now, there were 2 of them?
Remember this?
They're stalking around. I assume looking
Remember
for
this?
people to kill.
In 1999, Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris gunned down 12 of their classmates at Columbine
Remember
High
that?
School.
Christianity. Nobody mentions Christianity.
Dwayne
Nowhere.
Fusay was the FBI's lead Columbine investigator.
In their actions to what I had seen Harris and Klebold doing on their...
Christian homes, brought up in Christian homes. There you have it. The common denominator, Christ psychosis.
This sort of documenting is just eerily similar to Harris and Klebold's takes, that they really don't care about the sanctity of another human being's life. What they want to experience takes precedent.
There should be no
Sanctity, they don't care about the sanctity of other human beings' life. Sanctity, you know where that words come from? So again, the cop is Christ psychosis infected. Everybody around is Christ psychosis infected. The judges are all Christ psychotics. They're all Christ psychotics. They've been brought up in a Christian homes, like these guys are. So they live their fantasies. And this is the problem in the United States of America. Everybody's infected. So you're in a huge asylum that everybody thinks everybody's normal. And they're all in a box and they're all crazy. I'm outside the box and can see the lunatics. They're all Christianity infected, like everybody that believes in God is Christianity infected, have a problem with the brain. And it happens all over the world. All over. Islam psychosis, Buddhism psychosis, any believing God is equated, is no different than one of the schizophrenias. It's a psychosis with a different name. They call religion. But religion is one of the schizophrenias. It's psychopathy. It's a combination of, it's a tremendously dangerous neurological disorder. In all of us, on the killer ape, the human being, there is a killer ape. And this is what I don't understand. And this is what's happening here. And it will continue to happen all over United States of America.
No, you seeing the videotape probably can't believe that because you don't know Tori.
See that? Whose fault is it? Parents. Christ psychosis infected parents. See?
Just try to not take it for granted.
See? They're going to enjoy the visit with the son in prison.
To be able to see him and
This imbecile parents, this Christian parents, disgusting. If my son would have done something like that, I would have ripped him off. I would have cut his head off. This is what happened with imbeciles, these parents. This is all their fault, these stupid Christianity-infected parents. And the churches that they brought him into. And all the upbringing of this Christian crap. That's what you get him from.
From a life cut short.
See? Why? Because of the Christian shit.
for the longest time and just
Fine. In the Christ psychosis-infected nation, children, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds are considered children. Sex is dirty, is bad. Homosexuality is bad, it's a sin. Women are inferior. Blacks are inferior. Native Americans are inferior. The only good people are the Christians, white Christians. So all of this is taught in the same book, the Bible, full of deluded, irrational beliefs. It's like seeing a movie and you believe that everything in the movie is real. And when you're young, this students, they fantasize everything. They're never taught history. They don't taught science, like neurology. You never see a teacher telling the kid, you were brought up by your parents by sex. That's where you were created, by sex of your parents with love. And the brain is the creator of thought. Never, That's not even mentioned by anyone. This is the problem. And you see, accept fantasies to be reality. It's like somebody going to a movie theater and believing everything there is real. That is the problem. Schools and people don't understand that in a Christianity-infected nation, that believing in all this Bible, mythologies, I mean, there are a lot of mythologies there. They're all irrational. You have ghosts, you have demons, you have angels, you have gods, you have saints, you have all kind of mumbo jumbo. You have blood sacrifice, you have whipping, you have penance, you have sin, you have racism, you have all kind of deluded stuff from the 12th century, which is people that have a problem with the brain, the old Christians, Christ psychotics, they believe it's true. It happens in all religions like a virus. They believe in zombies. They believe in vampires. They're all created by Christianity. All of it is created by Christianity. And here's an example. Some people, they have a vampire club. And this guy is in prison because he killed somebody, because of ate their blood. The club, they're eating this because they had no inkling of history. And they brought up in Christianity-infected homes, of course, attending church, and they're fed since they're 2, 3 years old, 5 years old with these fantasies and deluded, psychotic delusions of Christianity, which also invented Satanism and all this bullshit. Witches, they're invented by, all this magic is invented by Christianity. They're their own invention. Miracles, curses, all that, and that comes from the vast Roman Empire. And here is a sample. Remember, this has been going on for 1700 years. And Christianity, some people believe, is a virus of the brain. It's a malfunction of the brain. And the whole country is infected. The whole nation. And it's run by these nuts. Congress, Senate, and all that. All these are run by this disgusting, deluded psychopath that believe in a zombie that resurrects and say with blood. And they believe the Bible is real. And there's no mythology, it's science. See the problem. And you see this is the clips here on the program about this vampire, these people that killed this lady. It's in prison because of, enjoying, cutting people and eating their blood and all that stuff. That's all Christian invention. Because the only religion that the blood saves is this Christian nonsense. And Islam, that comes also from the Roman Empire religion, which also have blood sacrifice and whipping. The Jew psychotics, kaparot, killing animals and blessing during Hanukkah, and the circumcision, the mohel, they cut the religion, circumcision, they cut the little baby's penis, and he sucked his blood. And it is allowed, and it's fine, and it's sanity. See what I mean? Right psychosis, my friends, religious virus. The cancer of the brain nobody sees. HIV of the neural array.
With anathema, a dagger, ceremonial.
Ceremonial. See, vampires. Who created that? Christians.
Drank, such as in communion.
See that?
Today, Farrell maintains that after dwelling on the dark side, he's now emerged on the other side, and says his bad choices should serve as a warning. And so this is his story. Earned him a ticket to death row, but it's also brought him a kind of sinister celebrity, as his despicable crime has been the subject of a movie document.
A famous Christian, a Christ psychotic vampire.
I'd say by the time I was 17, while I was sitting on death row, a few of the guys in the cells along the way, who I was, what I was, etc. I was like, I led a
MSNBC is pretty good. I used to be with all the time with CNN, but they removed it because of Turner and Dish Network. Oh man! But they're having some really good programs here. And it's all reality, and it proves my point. These guys are who creates vampires? Christians. Christians created the devil, ghost. They created all this nonsensical stuff. Saints, angels, demons, archangels, demonic possession, vomiting, and of course Dracula. These imbeciles, the Christ-psychotic infected ignoramuses, they don't realize that Count Dracula, Vlad Tepes, was of the order of the dragon, blessed by the Pope, in the 1400s, fighting the Islamic psychotics, the Turks, under the Sultan Mehmed II. And Vlad Tepes was the impaler. He impaled all the Muslims, and those that didn't believe. He was blessed by the Pope. Blessed by the Pope with the order of the dragon, like his father too. They're pious Christian. They're impaling everybody. Not such a thing as crucifixion, but they really didn't exist. But it was just impaling. Incredible. And there is your Christianity comes from. When you talk about Dracula, you're talking about a Christian, a Christ-psychotic infected imbecile from the 15th century. There you have it. That's where the vampires come from. Christ psychosis, as I always say. But Americans are too ignorant and stupid to get it all together, because they get their infection in churches. In churches. That's where they get their crap from. All this theotardism, ignorance. They read only one book, full of myth that they believe is true. That's what is amazing. Just like a schizophrenic, temporal lobe epilepsy, or people that have ingested too many drugs. They all see these demons and all these crazy things due to the infected brains.
When I was staying in Eustis, I met an individual.
Christian mother, of course. Christian mother.
The term was a vampire.
See? That's where they get it from.
The initiation took place as what? Piss thieves. They still, and then feed me their blood, because they consider the blood to be the true life.
Where is all this true blood comes from? Who saves with blood? Who's this zombie that saves with blood? And every Sunday you go over there to the temple to worship him, and you bow and you kneel and pray to the zombie god, and the priest says, "This is my blood, I save you from sin." Who's that? Who does that? Of course, zombie Jesus. I rest my case. That's what happens. That's where all this vampire nonsense comes from. Christ psychosis. The HIV of the neural array, nobody seems to see. It keeps people in the 12th century. It's a time machine. All these Christians belonging in insane asylums. It's almost okay they keep the disorder to themselves. But oh no, they're running the United States government. They run the whole country. They're in the Senate, they're in the Congress, they're everywhere. All the psychopaths, that's Christianity infected psychopath, and the pussy atheists, in other words, the sane, in other words, atheists, scientists, and intellectuals, say nothing, ignore it. It's like, oh, the Christians are perfectly rational and sane. They just have faith in things that we don't believe. The idiots, the atheist, scientist idiot, they don't understand that believing in a zombie God that resurrected and saved with blood, that's what Christianity is, by the way. The dummies don't understand that. It is no different than a schizophrenic beliefs, or the beliefs of people with problems with the brain. There you have it. Christ psychosis. In pace Dio.